It did not take me long in my work as a Christian sex therapist to realize that many couples are more comfortable having sex with each other than actually talking about sex with each other. It was very clear that many of their issues and struggles and problems could easily be resolved if they simply had open and honest conversations with each other. But something held them back. And I realized that this was not isolated to just one or two clients, but a regular theme, a regular pattern among many of my clients. And so the theme that started to emerge for me was a type of sexual illiteracy, that many of my clients simply didn't have the language or the knowledge to appreciate the deeper realities of who we are as sexual beings. And so I crafted these 15 questions not to answer all the issues related to our sexual formation, but to at least start the conversation, to begin the conversation with each other of who we are and how do we engage in this dance of the sexes. The first 30 questions are more theological in their foundation. Why did God create sexuality? What does it mean to be masculine, feminine? And what is the purpose of sex? These set the frame, the foundation for the rest of the question, because once we understand why something exists, now we're able to experience the fullness of it. We're able to experience its excellence. And so when I know why this pen was created, I'm able to experience the excellence of this pen. I can use it for many different things. I can scratch my back. I can drum. I can play darts with it. But when I know it was created for writing, now I'm able to experience the excellence. I'm able to experience the fullness of this pen because I understand its design. And the same is true when it comes to our sexuality. That when we know why God created us as sexual beings, then we're able to experience its excellence and not just experience it, enjoy it, to bask in it. And a lot of our sexual frustrations come because we have not stopped to consider its design. We've not stopped to consider why God created it to begin with. Notice that the first question is sexuality and not sex. And so make a distinction between these two, where sex is more about what we do with our genitals, where sexuality is broader and more about who we are as males and females. I've addressed this question in greater detail in other videos, but I'll at least leave you with the reference to Genesis 1, 26 and 27 to get your mind thinking once again. The second question asks, what does it mean to be masculine and feminine? Again, if God created us as sexual beings, he did so as males and females. What does it mean for us to embody God's image as a male or to embody God's image as a female? Do these distinctions matter, or is it better simply to be gender blind, as it were, that we're just generic humans? I think gender does matter, and this distinction does matter. And so for us individually, when I know what it means to be a man, now I'm able to embody my manhood and show up in this dance of the sexes in a different way. That I'm not just a generic being in this dance of the sexes. I'm a unique male in this dance of the sexes. But likewise, in my interactions with Eve, when I understand why God created femininity, when I understand Eve, I'm able to dance in a smoother dance with her because I understand her design as well. And so it's important for us to consider why God created us as male and female, and what does each gender reflect about God. The third question is, what is the purpose of sex? And again, theologically, this is more than just about putting the body parts together. But even on a level of putting our body parts together, what is being communicated? What is being expressed in that act of sex? That certainly is about baby making and certainly about intimacy, but is there also something more? And so what is the place of truth? What is the place of goodness? What is the place of beauty in the sex act? Where sometimes we reduce it to just baby making or just intimacy, and we forget the larger beauty aspect that's also in play. I don't want to reduce it to just one or the other, but how do we appreciate the total reality, the fullness of the experience, the truth, the goodness, the beauty of who we are as sexual beings and in the act of sex itself? These initial questions are theological in their foundation. And sometimes that's helpful for couples where it removes it off of their immediate sex act and simply to contemplate, to consider what God created us as sexual beings to begin with. And it does set the foundation, sets a frame for the rest. And so when we talked about the sex act, we're not necessarily talking about your particular sex act yet. So we're talking about what God had in mind, what were his holy ideals when he created us as sexual beings and chose the sex act as a way for us to connect with each other. And so as you sit with these questions and the ones to come, I would encourage you just to take one or two at a time. The point is not simply to get through the whole 15 questions in one sitting, but to sit and start that conversation with you and your spouse, to let the conversation develop, to mature, for you to develop that language between the two of you so that you can understand God's design for sexuality and how to apply that personally in your dance, in your marriage. Until next time, take care.